Hi folks, in this video I wanted to show you how you can enhance your song so that instead of running automatically as soon as the page loads and then the user's given a button that they can press to play the song. As soon as they hit the play the song button, they're prompted for how many lines of the song they actually want to sing. So if you say how many days of the Christmas song do you want to sing, if you say five, then it just counts down from fives. Let me just show you how it would work similarly in 99 bottles of beer. Um, let's bring up the song. We'll open the console too at the same time. And now play the song. And then how many bottles do you want to drink? And I'll just say 5 bottles or 4 bottles. And then it just uh, outputs the 4 bottles of beer. So you're going to do the same thing, you know, with uh, with the 12 days of Christmas. In order to actually accomplish this task, though, you need to learn a few more JavaScript skills, and you can find them here. Let's look at them. You first have to know about functions. So in the JavaScript tutorials, if you go down, you should have read all the way pretty much through here. Now you need to read functions, okay? And then in addition to functions, read about events. So functions, events, and then to bring that prompt up, it's not actually in this list of stuff here. You can search for it though, and you just go prompt, and then probably either of these works, probably JavaScript prompt, and then you can read about how to do a JavaScript prompt. This one too, window prompt method, either is going to work. But I'm going to show you how to code with them. So let's now code this tool. I'm going to show you how to code it in 99 bottles of beer, and then you can use both the function and the event programming and the prompt to code it yourself in the 12 days of Christmas. So let's start off then. Let's learn a bit about functions to begin with. Okay, so here we have our 99 bottles of beer code that we coded in the previous learning module. I had introduced this error here. Let's get rid of it by putting in equals here. And I have a document write line. You can move between these. I want to use console.log, partly because document.writeLine you're really not going to use too much later in this course. It's just something that you use sort of as a pedagogical tool you use in the beginning of the course, but you should sort of forget about it as you're moving along. Okay, so let's wrap this. This code, of course, runs right away. It executes as soon as the page loads. But we can wrap this code in a function. Let's call it, and a function accomplishes a lot of different things in JavaScript. But for the rank beginner, thinking of it as a way of sort of packaging your code into separate pieces, and making it more modular, because you could have a big, long honking program, but if you separate it into different functions, then you can modularize it. On a very elementary level, if you've probably already encountered functions in whatever other programming languages you've been exposed to. A function, say in Java, is probably most equivalent to say a method. But it's a way of modularizing and packaging your code. So let's wrap all of this code in a function. Okay, so you just declare the function, and then you give it a name, and here we're going to call it song, and then parentheses. This is where you would pass parameters to the function, and then curly cues. And then let's put all our code inside this function. So we just need to move it up. And now it's there. Inside all the code is inside the function. If we actually were to run this page again, let's run it again. And if we open F12, and let's run it one more time, nothing actually is outputted. And the reason that's happened is because while we have it all in a function, nothing is calling the function. Yeah, so we can actually call the function down here just by calling song, like so. And now run it again, and we have our sources open here with a break as well, so we need to get rid of the break. Go to the console, run it again, and now we're seeing everything being run. And actually, let's try it in sources and see if we can see what's happening in the code. Maybe add a console log here just to help you see what's going on. Oh, I can't add it here. I have to go back to my program. So add a console log here. We'll just call it debug. And save it. And now go back to our program. And let's add a break here. Okay, now we've got it's breaking on this particular statement. Let's step through the code. It comes to this line, song line, and now it's going to call the function. So it's going to go up to it's going to go back up in the program to the actual function. That's not what I expected to do. Let me show you a little bit better. Let's put another break in here to actually make it do what I want it to. So let's start this again. Okay, I'm putting a break in here as well. Okay, start the program again. It comes to the console statement, step into the code. Now I'm just going to hit the resume execution, and where does it take me next? It should take me directly into the function, which it did, to this break statement. So that effectively, this song, that calls the function. Okay? All right, and so now, of course, the whole program runs. Let's get rid of the breaks. Go back to console, run the song. Okay? So the next thing we have to do, now that we have a function, is that this isn't really doing anything much different than it did before. But we can now hook this up to an event, an on-click event in our actual body of our HTML page that we can actually use to actually call the function. And this is probably best sort of just illustrated. So let's create a button here. Button. And we'll call it play song. All right. And then our button is going to have an on-click event. So actually, if you look at brackets, you can see there's all these different types of events that you can attach to elements in an HTML page. But in this case, we're going to make it an on-click event. On-click event. And then in the on-click event, we're saying when the on-click event occurs, call the function. Okay. In this case, here we use actual JavaScript in the actual script to call the function. Here we're just going to call it right here, the same with the same syntax. Okay, so let's take this out and run our program again. Play the song, and now it plays it. Okay. All right. So the last thing we wanted to do is actually prompt the user, in your case, for how many, what's the term, and when it comes to music, how many refrains of 12 Days of Christmas you actually want the computer to sing. In this case, how many bottles of beer. So let's add a prompt to our code. And the best place to put this is we're going to want to prompt the user for how many bottles of beer they want to drink, right? So if they only want to drink, 4 bottles of beer, we're not going to want this for loop to run more than 4 times. So that prompt is not going to occur inside the for loop. It's going to occur before it. So let's put in a for loop here. And well, put the prompt in here, prompt, and then the prompt just takes a parameter here, which will show up. And so this prompts the user with this particular message, and they get to actually enter some value, and you can capture that value by having it returned to a variable here. We actually want it to return to bottles remaining, so we'll put bottles remaining here. And let's just see what's happening when we run this. Now play song again. And now we get our prompt. It's not going to do exactly what we want yet because and notice that it's still outputting 99 bottles of beer. That's because if we look at our code, we do now have bottles remaining, but what we basically did is we redeclared the variable down here and gave it a value of 99. So we can just take that all out, and now it should probably work. Let's try it again. 4 bottles of beer, and now we get what we're looking for. You may notice I have these break statements in here that are a vestige of having had it, using it when I was using document write line rather than console. Let's look at our code a little bit closer. See if there's anything more we can clean up here. Notice that I've actually not just declared bottles before passing around, but actually bottles after passing around. We don't need those really anymore because we're just prompting the user for the mount. So we can, I think, we just declare these variables rather than assigning them values, because they'll just be assigned down below here inside the for loop. And now let's run this one more time and verify that it's working. Yeah, okay. All right, so that's a wrap, folks. And again, just by way of reviewing what you need to study on your own to complete this assignment, we went over the prompt method. We also went over how to create functions, and then we also went over the very basics of creating, attaching events to particular elements in your HTML which then in turn can call your functions, or your function in this case. Okay? Good luck with the assignment.